My name is Seamus Mulligan and I'm privileged to be here this evening. I happen to be the president of the Irish Cultural Centre here in Canton. We are 25 years old. We are an umbrella organisation for all things Irish and all organisations Irish in the New England area. So myself, my father was a guard. He was born in Cavan, and then subsequently, of course, his parents had a business there, so they were very much privy to the economic conditions that were prevalent. Then he left Cavan and he wound up joining the Garda Síochána, the Irish police force, and he got stationed first in Letterkenny. Letterkenny was Donegal, Dunfanaghy rather, and that was out on the tip. So there was absolutely no question that despite the fact that they were that much further up, the famine did hit them and hit them very, very hard. And of course the subsistence that they had because of the concentration was on the potato. You know, when Sir Walter Raleigh brought the potato to Ireland, one of the things that it did was it enabled people to work on a very small piece of land. But once the famine came, now they had a problem. You know, they had no land and they had no potatoes. So consequently, the ramifications were very, very serious. Again, going back to my father, he got transferred from Dunfanaghy to Letterkenny. And then when he got married, he got moved to Monaghan. And then when that's where I was born. And I was concerned a little bit and brought up in an area on the border town, which was, of course, a serious, serious problem for Ireland because there was terrible relationships between Northern Ireland, and that was all Protestant and of course Catholic. So, you know, I recall during the processions that what they would do is, you know, rather than having, you know, something symbolic of Christ or whatever the case might be, they would have at the Eucharistic Congress, they would slaughter a pig and put him on one of these poles, and they would say cured at Lourdes because of the fact that they defamed the Catholic faith in such a fashion. But then we got transferred to Leitrim, and Leitrim of course was on the border of the real bad areas. You're talking about Mayo and you're talking about Galway. The situations there were absolutely devastating, and those people had really no way to subsist at all. And as a consequence of that, you know, they were out. And the other thing that happened was they couldn't pay their rents. So what happened was the British landlords wouldn't tolerate that. So what they did was they asked them to leave or to be evicted. And if they didn't get evicted, what they would do is they would send flames down their chimney. And at that particular case, they would burn the place so the people come out. And that gave rise to the itinerants in Ireland. And all of those people were now on the roads. They have no real means of subsistence, but in their particular case, they wound up being, and we have it even to this very, very day in Ireland. And right now, we have what they call the travelling people, or also they would call them tinkers, because of the trade that they had for their subsistence was to mend pots. So that's why they were called tinsmiths, and they were also called tinkers, and then the new fashionable name for them is the travelling people. So there isn't any question at all about it. The famine had serious, serious ramifications. Now, what happened to the people? As many people as possible got out of there. Well, that was one tragedy leading to another, because an awful lot of people got on these coffin ships. Often many of them died on the way. Then if they arrived on shore, they first of all came into Canada. Then they went down from Canada to Maine. Then, of course, they went down into Boston. Well, all of those places took a certain number of the people, but it was rationed because of the fact that they couldn't handle this. And I'm more familiar now because many of these, hundreds of these people, before they even got on to the mainland of Boston, they died. So consequently, they're all buried in unnamed graves over, and we're working with another group here to finally have them memorialized, and we think we have most of the names. But those people never arrived on shore. And then for those that did arrive on shore, because of the fact that their health was they were so vulnerable because of their ill health, that many of them slept in doorways and also got swept up and brought back out to Deer Island. So it really was a very, very serious time. And thank God for America at that time. A lot of them got up to Grosse Ile. Many of them died there. Many of them got into Maine. Many of them died there. And a lot of the Maine people wound up coming down into Massachusetts. And also, you know, many of the people that were in also the other. Now, they had boats going down, and if they didn't get out at New York, then of course the boat turned around and had to go back, even though they had people. But they were all in steerage, the very bottom of the boat, with terrible sanitary conditions, and it was really a true blemish. Now, they did call it the famine. It really wasn't. As a matter of fact, it was the Great Hunger. That's what they're calling it now. Why? There was more than adequate food in Ireland that was totally controlled by the British, and to the point that Ireland was exporting to the other parts of Europe, and the other people in Ireland were starving to death on the roadsides.